Welcome to the Christian Contractor Podcast.
Christian Contractor Podcast.
A show created for kingdom-driven Christian contractors that are focused on scaling their business in God's name while positively impacting the world around them. If you're ready to ascend from a contractor to a purpose-driven business owner, we're here to serve you. Here's your host, Brandon Guthrie.
So powerful, yeah. For those of you out there that are on the fence, just do it now is the key. And yeah, it feels like, it might take me time, energy, resources, but we know, it's biblical that the seeds that we sow, we know whether it's in this life or the next, regardless, we're going to get 100x return on our investment, 100x ROI. That's biblical. And so, sowing into the youth locally in the community or abroad is a great way to make that impact. Take what you're doing, make it about something bigger, and like you said, it can impact your culture. It can impact how your customers see how you operate, and it's not all about you. And then you also mentioned servant leadership. So that's a key word right there. So talk to me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so as an organization, we have core values, and our core values are our DNA. There's a saying: you add one new person to a team, and it's a whole new team, which means it's a whole new culture, it's a whole new interaction. But what I will say is, if you have guiding principles, and those are our core values, and you're serious and true to them, you hire. This is going to sound harsh, but it's just the truth. You hire, fire, and promote to your core values. And as long as that's how you're operating, you're going to maintain a certain guidance as far as your team and a certain culture. And servant leadership is one of our pillars. It's one of our core values. And it's something we look for in people that join our team. Because, again, you add one new person to a team and it's a whole new team. But if they fit those 6 core values, they're going to fit in with us, and they're going to help us get to where we're going. And part of that is our servant leadership. We, as an organization, outside of just the formal charity type work that we do a charity event once a quarter. So we have a culture committee that basically selects what we're going to do. It could be, we go to St. Vincent de Paul and serve a hot meal to somebody that's, unfortunately without a home or have fallen on hard times. Or it could be Feed My Starving Children, where we package food and send it to somewhere else in the world. And it's if you guys have that opportunity in your local market, it's a really fun team building exercise. It makes a difference. It makes an impact, and it's competitive. So you get everybody on the team kind of working hard to compete against another company in speed. And then it could be clean up a park. Servant leadership means a lot of things. It's internal. It's, hey, we've got somebody at our own company that's fallen on hard times and we've got to lift them up. Or it could be, hey, we're going to all get together and do something for somebody else in our community. And I can't express this enough. It pays dividends. In the internal satisfaction that people feel when they're making a difference like that trumps, an incentive you give where you give them an Amazon gift card. They would rather have the experience of serving and seeing the smile on somebody else's face by the impact that they're making than any kind of monetary gift.
Wow.
So we really try to ingrain it and have that be part of our DNA as an organization.
Wow, that's like 180 degrees difference. Flip it on its head, just like how servant leadership is supposed to, right? Jesus flips everything on its head in the world. The least is going to be the most instead of the most being the least, and vice versa. So with what you're saying is it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same thing where instead of incentives, we're talking about just the feeling that you have of serving being the incentive. And what you've seen firsthand and what I've seen it too is that feeling is greater than any incentive, any other cash bonus you could give somebody ever. And it brings your team closer together. It takes your bond and the meaning of what you're doing to a whole new level. So for like Christian contractors listening right now that are not already have a program in place where when the team is able to hit certain goals, that they are able to be a part of an experience where they're able to make that positive impact, then do it now. Like implement that now, and flip that on its, do that servant leadership where we're flipping everything on its head and putting serving others above serving ourselves. And um and then that's like the key word there of, you know, Jesus flips everything on its head compared to the world. That's servant leadership. So what uh what does servant leadership look like for you, when obviously Jesus talks about, the least would be the most and the most would be the least in heaven. um Talk to me, like, how do you practically apply servant leadership in the day to day? How do you apply servant leadership as a leader within the company? Either you're at the very top or you're a leader within the organization. There's lots of different leaders within the organization. How can we, and obviously it all comes from top down, as we know, how can we as CEOs of leaders of the organization promote from the top down servant leadership through our actions, through what people see, not through what we say? How can we practically do that in our business so that way we see the result of all of a sudden all of our teams kind of watching us saying, wow, that guy really is doing something different. And then all of a sudden they start doing it too. Because think about the impact that would have in your business. Talk to me about how people, how Christian contractors listening could do that.
Yeah, so the key word, well, they're two separate words in servant leadership, and they both have specific meanings. But let's focus on leadership. If there's leaders on this listening to this call, you're leading, and you need to lead by example. So it's the same kind of leadership in a company that has nothing to do with the servant side. You want to lead from the front. You don't want to be a boss cracking the whip. You want to show people who you are, how it's done, and really lead from the front. So, for me specifically, this is kind of just such a, from the top to the bottom of our business, I really don't ask people to do things I'm not willing to do myself. And when it comes to servant leadership and actually giving back in the community and leading by example, I'm right there, boots on the ground, doing it. I mean, I'm and this really isn't a pat on the back, because I really enjoy it. I find a lot of personal satisfaction in helping others and really just seeing the impact that I can make. And I really try to encourage my team to do the same. But you're right. When they see leaders at our company doing it and showing up, and like if we're doing a park cleanup, I'm the first one to get my hands dirty and fill a bag with trash.
Mm,
They're always more encouraged to do it when the leader is leading the way.
mm,
And it's really just a repetitive thing. You don't want to just do hey, we're going to do a charity event this year. Great. That might be a great impactful day. But I promise if you sprinkle those in more often, you'll start seeing it in your own organization. You'll start having, one of your people come to you and say, hey, Sean, I see that you're doing all these charitable things in the community. Is there a group or a charity I can get involved with? I get that question all the time, and I'll point them in the right direction. I've been so shocked in the past. Some of my own people have joined groups in the community to make a deeper impact.
wow. Wow, that's amazing. So you're leading from the front, you're leading by example, and you're just living it out, and you're seeing that impact and that fruit. And that's and obviously there's so much self satisfaction just doing that ourselves, but also the impact in the culture. How have you seen any shifts, any recognizable shifts in your culture, that I'm sure a lot of Christian contractors listening in right now would love to see in their own business? Is there like a tangible moment where, like, holy smokes, I, it's really cool to see that happen. I mean, that's a great example. One of them joining community. Any other like in the business moments where you're like, all right, like this is really awesome to see this impact happening?
Yeah, I would say this. There's a special bond that the team creates when we're doing kind of charitable servant leadership type work together.
Yep.
So not only does that happen and everybody creates a stronger bond and stronger relationship, but a lot of our people are posting on social media, and they're kind of like, it's not requested, it's just they're having a great time and they want to share with their own network, the work that they're doing. And they start getting positive feedback on that, and other people start seeing it, want to end up, we've had interviews through this entire process of people that want to be a part of a company like that. So it's more than just the day you're there, the day your boots on the ground, rolling up your sleeves with whatever it is. It does have kind of this outreach of impact in the organization and out. And then on the customer side, I just believe, this is just how I operate. I like working with companies where it seems like they have a really good culture and they're charitable and they seem like good people and love what they do. I personally am more attracted to a company like that to do business with than I am of, a company that stuff's not as important. So, it's really, really impactful from top to bottom. There's really no downside in my opinion. And most of the companies I know that have this type of atmosphere and outlet for their people, it just pays dividends.
100%. Amazing. Amazing. Well, Sean, thank you so much for hopping on. Is there anything else that you want to add for Christian contractors listening in right now? There's a lot of different contractors out there and a lot of different points in the journey. Some of them are just barely getting started. I've talked to a painter, that's just barely starting their business. I've talked to remodelers that are hitting that $1 million mark. And just for reference point on revenue, not that revenue is everything, but that's a good reference point. And we've also even talked to large organizations, but maybe they have a spaghetti mess in their culture. Their culture is all over the place, and they want, maybe they're starting to realize, I think deep down inside, all of us know, because we all have, us as believers have the Holy Spirit. We know what the Spirit's telling us, and the Spirit's telling us that we need to lead by example. We need to lead like Jesus. And that is servant leadership. And we know that it comes from the top down. So if you're having any problems in your culture, here's the problem, right?
Yeah.
So for any Christian contractors listening in, any other advice when it comes to servant leadership or impact in their business before we sign out today?
I would just say have those guiding principles and really get your team to buy into those guiding principles and add to your team using those guiding principles. And you can do whatever you want. It's really, really that simple, but it does start at the top, and you need to lead and do what you say you're going to do and lead by example, and the rest will fall into place.
Amazing. So number one, take that leap of impact. If you're on the fence, just go do it. It's going to pay dividends. Not that we're in it for the return, because it is unconditional love, but if there is, so be it. Number two is we want to promote a culture of servant leadership. We want to lead by example too. It comes from the top down. And number three is we want to hire and fire based on those guiding principles. So Sean, thank you so much for being here. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so I'm on every social media platform, Instagram, Sean K. McGraw, or you can follow my company, For Energy. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, all of them.
I love it. You guys, go check them out. Thank you so much for tuning into the Christian Contractor Podcast. I'm Brandon Guthrie with Dream Design Labs. If you're a Christian contractor that wants to take territory in God's name, learn how we do just that at go.dreamdesignlabs.com/case-study. Check it out. It's free. I guarantee you'll get great value from the content. And remember, marketing doesn't have to be hard. All you need is the right tools and the right heart to serve. Till next time, stay blessed. Sean, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Brandon.